And welcome back to another MPJ New Rock Album Review Show. I'm your host, Nige. Welcome to Dom, to Andy, to Paul, and to Andy. Right, what's the show about? We review all the latest rock albums, rate them out of 5 for our listening pleasure. Not for how technically they're good or well, but how much did we like to listen to this album? If it gets 4 or more, gets into the Hall of Fame. If it gets something like 4.6, it could even get into our legendary status. Because we like to have a bit of fun with this. Ultimately, we'll obviously get our top 20 albums and vote for them at the end of the year, but that's a long way off. It's May. It's episode 4, and so let's continue with the May theme, and let's go for Mayday Parade, and their new album, Sweet. Now, Mayday Parade are another returning. We've got lots of returning albums, bands this month. So Mayday Parade didn't fare brilliantly. It did okay. Their previous album, What It Means to Fall Apart, got a 3.1 the last time. Will it have improved? Let's find out, shall we? Let's go to... I know he does like to do a bit of Morris dancing, so on Mayday, and that's Chris. So, Chris, sweet enough for you? Because you are a sweet guy when you're dressed up with your Mayday, polling.
I didn't realise you knew about that, Nigel. That's a shock. But yeah, so it's got to be said first off, this is a very short album. There's only 8 songs. None of them beat 4 minutes, and one of them is only 20 seconds long. So I am thankfully aware that Mayday Parade are currently doing a 3-album group, effectively, and this is the first one. So I mean, it's quite quick, it's quite short, and therefore it feels quite punchy and abrupt, and it leaves you wanting more, which is not a bad thing at all. As you've already mentioned, they've been doing it for 20 years. And it's kind of difficult for you to keep the sort of the emo punk vibe going for 20 years when you're now probably 40 something and not quite as teen angsty as you used to be. But they still do it quite well. It's, from what I remember at least from Mayday Parade, it's been a while since I listened to them, but it's still that same sort of sound. And I am looking forward to the next one as well. So yeah, this kind of hit a sweet spot for me this month. It's pretty good.
Do you actually think that's an emo punk?
I think that's certainly where they started. They've not managed to keep it going quite as well as they could have done, but it still sounds pretty good, and it still sounds kind of similar to what they used to.
Yeah, but do you think this sound is emo punk? This album? Do you think?
Not anymore, no.
No. Okay, I was just curious. Now, talk about emo, talk about punk. Couldn't be further away from the truth, Paul. I just would never describe you as emo punk, so therefore, you're probably out of all of us the furthest away from even getting close to emo punk. But what did you think of Mayday Parade?
Well, I do like punk rock, so yeah. So look, Mayday Parade for the 20th anniversary of release Sweet, as Chris has mentioned, as the first part of a 3-part album release. 8 songs. It's almost an EP, and in many respects, it feels like it. The band have introduced much more pop-orientated songs than the early punk days. It's well sung, played, performed, and produced, and bland. It's a bit ironic that their only song with soul is the final track, Pretty Good to Feel Something, and leans heavily to their punkier side. To sum up, it's a nice, sickly sweet album. But for something more savoury, you'll need to look elsewhere, or even Mayday Parade's earlier work.
Oh, do you like a bit of savoury, or do you like a bit of sweet, Andy?
Well, if it's popcorn, I'll take both. And I'll have salt and sweet. There you go. I'll have best of both worlds. I'll do that. Yeah, I wouldn't call this necessarily emo as such. I mean, it must have been back in the day, but it's much more sort of pop punk these days for it. It was quite catchy and punchy. There's songs like 400 Days, Who's Laughing Now, which go through for it. And it was, over quickly, because there's only 8 songs on it as such as well. Sort of, I haven't heard it before, but it sort of led in mind sort of like Green Day and sort of like albums of the, about 20 years ago or so, which you listened to through for it. It didn't quite punch through as much as I'd like it to. It does merge, there's a little bit of sameness which it does merge into for it. But I thought it was, still quite catchy. And it was, the guitar sounded good onto it. The vocal sounded good onto it. So overall, it was a very good listen to for me. I enjoyed it as well.
Well, I'll just read out Trish, because it's like, made me crack up. For an album with only 23 minutes long and 8 tracks, it really needs to deliver pack and punch. With the middle of the album is a track called Personify, which is 21 seconds long. What is the point? It didn't bring anything to the album, and it let down for me. Whilst the album is easy to listen to, I wouldn't turn it off. Just very generic and didn't bring me any star quality. And I wanted to finish on star quality because we're going to go to Dom, and we're going to get star quality, Dom. More your cup of tea, not your cup of tea.
You know, I always back the trend. Yeah, I really enjoyed this album. It is an EP, let's be honest. It's not an album, it's an EP, isn't it? I really enjoyed it. It really captivated me. I would have called it, I think it is, emo, pop, punk emo that has matured. That's how I'd put it. And they are obviously older guys now. But you can still, for me, I can still feel the emotion in the lyrics, the intensity of what they're trying to say. The songwriting is really good. And, you know, it's lovely and melodic. And there's that kind of slow pace that really kind of fits the mood. So it was an album that felt like authentic and genuine. And actually, I found it a really good listen. It's catchy. And, you know, again, it kind of gives me hints of that summer festival vibe of sitting listening to a band like that, having a good time, singing songs about being miserable. I mean, what else could you want on a hot summer's day? It's great. So, yeah, totally enjoyable for me.
Yeah. Somewhere I couldn't quite make my mind up whether I thought this was a bland album or I really enjoyed it. So it was somewhere in between. It's not an EP because there's 7.5 tracks, 7.1 tracks. So in effect, she's right. Whatever. I really enjoyed Who We Are. I thought that did have a little bit of emotion to it. Saved the album a little bit for me from being too bland, but it was fun. It was punchy. It was a fun album to listen to, but it didn't set the world on fire for me in that respect. But I enjoyed it. I think is probably the best way of describing it, without really kind of loving it. But yes, anyway, will it improve on their previous album in our eyes? Will it get into our Hall of Fame? Let's start with you then, Chris. What did you give this?
So I gave this one a 4.
Okay, that's pretty tasty, Chris. For you, we're on the rise, Paul.
Yeah,
I was feeling a generous mood and I give it a 3.
Fair enough. Andy?
I also gave it a 4.
Ooh. Trish did not like this album. Very mediocre. 2.5. Dom?
Good quality, 4 all the way.
All the way. Wow, guys, if I give this a 4.5 or above, it's going to get into the Hall of Fame, but there was absolutely no chance of that happening. It was a 3.5 for me, which scores it a very solid and respectable 3.7, which incidentally, because we've now reviewed 526 albums, this overall was our top 200, 190th album. Certainly a 3.7, which is really good. So vast improvement on their previous album for us. Go and check it out. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Please like and subscribe. We love it. And let us know your thoughts. Thank you very much for joining us. Tune in for episode 5 of our May podcast. And goodbye for now. Keep on rocking.